Hi, I'm Tyra G, your host of Frankly Speaking with Tyra G. Welcome again to our virtual global gathering of phenomenal women. And for those of you who love them, yes, you, mothers, daughters, grand and great-grandmothers, fearsome and generous, humble and honest, in pursuit of new possibilities and purpose. You know, here we dig deep and we come up strong. Those of you joining us for the first time, each month we explore a new theme inspired by you. Yes, I said you. We bravely walk into places where tradition has taught us there are some things we just don't talk about. But not at this table. No matter how hard judgment knocks, it cannot come in. Beloved, here we live beyond the wreckage. Every week we experience, we educate, we encourage, and we empower each other. We share some aha moments and stories that have been left in our pockets for too long. Every week we start right where we are. I am so excited about how the show is progressing. We are celebrating our 7th month of proof that dreams can come true. Y'all know by now, Frankly Speaking with Tyra G was one of my most precious dreams. I thank God for every remembrance of you and your gifts of ideas, your presence, your encouragement. You know they were the gifts that inspired me to keep going. I can't do this show without you. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're listening to Radio Fairfax, Virginia, on your TV, computer, or mobile device. And we are webcast worldwide on the internet at www.radiofairfax.org every Saturday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, should you miss us, no worries. You can catch our podcast on YouTube, Frankly Speaking with Tyra G. And if you just feel like connecting with me offline, you know I'm spoiled. I love that part, right? It's easy. Email me at tyra@tyragarlington.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. And thank you, Courtney Nero, for composing and performing our Frankly Speaking theme song, and for naming it, I'm Listening. Well, it's March, Women's History Month. Our theme is Women of Wonder. Wow. I like to begin each show by sharing a few words of wisdom from trailblazers who make us proud to be women. I have a few quotes here, and I begin with, to all the little girls who are watching, never doubt that you are valuable and powerful and deserving of every chance and opportunity in the world to pursue and achieve your own dreams. Hillary Clinton, in her 2016 concession speech. What we have to remember is faith is not how many times we fall down, it's how many times we get up. Number 2, I raised my voice not so I can shout, but so that those without a voice can be heard. We cannot succeed when half of us are held back. This is precious. This is Malala, the youngest Nobel Prize laureate. She's a Pakistani. She's an advocate for education for women and girls. Because of this, she was shot by the Taliban, trying to take her passion forward. Next, if you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman. That was Margaret Thatcher, the former British Prime Minister. This one, it took me a long while to develop a voice, and now that I have it, I'm not going to be silent. That's Madeleine Albright, former U.S. Secretary of State. Now, this one I want you to seal in your mind. There's no limit to what we as women can accomplish. Former First Lady Michelle Obama. And finally, although not a woman, a fountain of wisdom, the second president of the Church of Latter-day Saints, Mr. Brigham Young, says, you educate a man, you educate a man. You educate a woman, you educate a generation. Yes, this is March, Women's History Month. However, I think each of us are women of wonder, And I'm super celebrating all of us in all ways, always. So to move to our common thought space today, I want us to focus on what I'm calling the caravan of life, intergenerational information that we're passing on. Last month, for 4 weeks, Frankly Speaking with Tyra G, highlighted voices from the future. We talked to young folks. Yes, we did. Millennials, Generation Z, Generation Xers, Nexters. Our youngest guest was in the 5th grade. Her biggest argument was she was ready for her cell phone right now. They talked about dreams, their challenges, bullying, loneliness, social media, robots and friendships, and the future. What an enlightening experience. Beyond the laughter, there was wisdom and commitment to make a difference in the world. Well, this week, we are blessed to have our second guest, second in 1 month, who has blessed this world with her presence for over 80 years. Now, if her name were not already Dr. Ijoy, I would be calling her Spunky. And you will soon learn why. But today, to create our common thought space, I want you to turn your mind to how we determine the true value of every hour. Our lives are measured by the value we provide to others. This value arises from the things we spend our time doing. And since time is qualified in hours, the value of our lives is equivalent to the sum of every hour we spend. Opportunities to provide value are everywhere. Some of them are anticipated, while others blindside us at midnight on an idle Tuesday. Have you ever received that phone call? I have. Did you pick it up? Whether or not we choose to acknowledge or engage in these opportunities is up to us. How have you spent the last hour of your life? Let that question sink in. Let yourself come to see just how precious a gift it is to find value in the loving gestures you display, in the genuine conversation you have, the meaningful collaborations in which you engage, and the deeds you do that bring peace. If you need a little extra inspiration in the upcoming hour, check this out. First of all, build a bridge or two. Some people build lots of walls in their lives and not enough bridges. Don't be one of them. When you look at a person, any person, remember everyone has a story. Everyone has gone through something that has changed them and forced them to grow. Every passing face on the street represents a story every bit as compelling and complicated as your own. We meet no ordinary people in our lives. If you give them a chance, everyone has something amazing to offer. Open yourself up. Take small chances on people. Let them shift your perspective. Secondly, be present and listen closely. If you think about people who have had the greatest positive effect on your life, the ones who truly made a difference, you will likely realize they aren't the ones that tried to give you all the answers to solve all your problems. They were the ones who sat silently with you when you needed a moment to think, who lent you a shoulder when you needed to cry, who tolerated not having all the answers, but stood by anyway. Be this person for others. Love exactly what's in front of you. Love what you do until you can do what you love. Love where you are until you can be where you love. Above all, love the people you are with until you can be with the people you love most. Fewer judgments, less resistance, more love in this hour and the next. This is the way we find happiness, opportunity, and peace in every most mundane situation. It is there. Be way, way kinder than necessary. Think kindly of others. Speak kindly to others. And do things for others. Kindness always makes a difference. Create the little outcomes others might be grateful for at the end of their day. Be a bigger part of what's right in this world. And remember, the way we treat people we strongly disagree with is a report card on what we've learned about true love and kindness. You noodling on that? Good. Because after our break, you're going to meet a woman who believes that every one of us can do better than give up. That love is our essential nutrient. Without it, life has little meaning. Most importantly, the only time machine in our lives moves forward. I want you to stay close now. And we are back. How y'all doing out there? Well, it's time now. Ready for the powerhouse. Have you ever met a person actually whose brand was a part of her name? Well, I am going to present to some of you and introduce to others Dr. Ijoy. She's full of it. Joy. Dr. Ijoy, welcome, and thank you so much for joining me today.
And thank you. Thank you, Tyra. You're just so sweet. You know what? First of all, I love your words of wisdom at the beginning. I was so captivated.
Aww.
And I thank you for having me on your program, too. Would you like me to introduce myself, Tyra?
I would. I wouldn't even pretend to try.
Well,
yes.
Here I am. I'm an 86-year-old grandmother.
Praise the Lord, everybody.
You know what? And I believe in freedom. That's my word. And I love doing workshops. So all the people that I run around and do these workshops with, I talk about their need for freedom and to grab your freedom, hold on to it no matter what. So that's what I like doing. Now, when I was a child, I played with paper dolls. Oh, I love reading, and I love double dutch. I couldn't jump real good, but I tried my best. I love school, too. I love school. I didn't want to come home. I love school. I love my mother and father, but I love school. Now, when I was a teenager, Tyra, you know what? I loved getting all my girlfriends together, and we would just gossip and go to church and sing, and we just had a good old time when we were teenagers. I still love school. Then when I got to be 19, guess what I did?
I'm scared.
I said, I want to get married.
Ah.
And Tyra, I thought I knew everything, so I got married. I sure did because I wanted to have sex, and I didn't want anybody to judge me.
I love it. Yes, yes.
So I got married. And then when I was 27, I went to St. Joe's University here in Philadelphia, and I graduated first in the class, first African-American woman to graduate first in the class because I love school, right? And I love something else. I love boys. But you know what? All the boys that were short, they would always come ask me to dance. I wanted a tall one. Tyra, the tall ones would go get the short girls. And I said, oh, my goodness. Well, anyhow, I traveled 5 years with Reverend Leon Sullivan to 130 cities doing workshops. I am a workshop fiend, queen of workshops,
I do.
I love that part. And then I also loved going to the wall for my friends. I said, I'll go to the wall for my friends, I love my friends. And I started a group called Wise, Wild, Wonderful Women. And it goes like this. A woman is wise, she's wild, she's wonderful, and she's a woman. And she can do all kinds of things, And I like giving out mustard seeds. Listen, I've given out 50,000 mustard seeds. I know you're saying, wait a minute.
Yeah, I actually, I am. Okay, so the audience needs to know. First of all, let me just say to you, can you feel her? Can you feel the energy? Okay. All right, so we've been through her whole life, and I feel like I've been in a hurricane, but it was a good one, right? Okay, but now the mustard seeds, yeah, I got it. I'm way back on double dutch. Okay. I need to tell you that I couldn't do it. I messed up all the time. But then I wanted to tell you that I had the privilege of going to the African American Summit with Dr. Sullivan.
Did you?
Yeah, and when it was in Gabon, Africa.
We had a lot of things in common.
I know. Well, that, and when you said that about the boys, I am the same way. I call myself for a long time a giraffe, right? And young short men seem to, they thought I was wonderful. And I'm like, really? Please,
You know what? But still, they were nice people, but I was tall and kind of gangly, so I thought, well, anyway, that's a long story back. I love this
Well,
kind
I
of
know what's
tall,
nice
short,
now.
little, round, fat.
There
I
you
love
go.
all.
There you go. You began to see more than the packaging. You began to
Yes.
see the heart and the sense of humor and the
Yes.
mind.
And
Yes.
it's so good. And I love having fun. Not at the expense of other people, but just having fun. Playing the guitar, learning, taking piano lessons, singing in choirs. I'm crazy about choirs, Lord. Show me a choir and I'll sit there all day, I love choirs.
Now,
'Cause
you
I like
told
to
me
sing the
when we
alto
first
part.
talked. Now, you got it. Either you were telling me a little white one then or now. You
Which,
said, Tyra, I can't. We were talking about something you're going to do later. I can't really sing. My daughters can sing.
how many daughters you got, Tyra?
No, this is what you said to me, that your
Yes.
daughters could sing and you
That's
couldn't.
right.
But now everything you said to me is, I love music, I love singing, I'll sit in the choir
That's
forever. What are you doing, faking it or what?
No, I can make up a song. If you give me I make up a song just any old minute. I make up a poem. I can make up, I rhyme. You know how the kids say,
Yes,
can you
I
rhyme?
know,
I
I
can
know, I
rhyme.
know. And you're going to rhyme in a little bit after when we get to that. But I have interrupted you, which I suspected all along I would do. But I'm going to try now and be a perfect hostess and let you finish your introduction. Okay.
Well, no,
You
I
were at
love it when
50,000 mustard
you
seeds.
you can jump in there anytime because one of the things about the wise, wild, wonderful women,
What?
they talk at the same time and they can still hear. We don't say, pardon me, it's not terrible. We have a good old time. We just talk. But the mustard seeds, you go to the grocery store, you just buy a bottle of mustard seeds, cost you about $3, and there are 50,000 mustard seeds in the little jar. I come home, and I just put 3 or 4 of them in a little case, a little plastic bag, and I hand them out. I do them in workshops, handing people the mustard seeds.
Okay, so what do you surround? Tell me. Okay, the mustard seed is the centerpiece, but what's the workshop about? What are you doing?
Well, it's on faith. It's because it comes from Luke
Yes.
17:6.
Yes.
If you have the faith of a grain of mustard seed,
Mm-hmm.
you can move a mountain,
So you now have 50,000 people or some multiplier of that out there moving mountains. Okay.
Absolutely. Moving mountains and digging ditches and doing all the things you want to do. It's just a faith walk that says if you can't do it now, keep on trying.
Yes.
So the mustard seed is just a symbol of faith. And the workshops I give, and with all people, and you know this, Howard, we need faith. They
Absolutely.
need faith. Some of them have been in prisons. Some have been just on drugs, and they just have their lives have taken some bad turns,
Yes.
But I tell them, if you believe in freedom, then let's go. We're having this workshop.
Absolutely. And I think my experience in working with groups of people that may have stumbled, okay, may have stumbled, is showing up. Okay.
Yes.
It seemed like my being there in their presence, whether they were behind bars or whether they were in a drug rehab camp or whatever, my taking the time to come opened a door to a different kind of conversation. And that's what I was trying to get to in the front end, be kind to people. You really don't know. You don't know who that angel is. You don't know who can change your life. Because a person is packaged a certain way does not mean that's who that person is. You are not your circumstances, right?
I'm telling you that. I love the way you said that. And some of the people are between 20 and 70 or 80 years old. And some of the people are white. Some of the people are black, Hispanic, and transgender. So we just have a variety of people. When you see them, I love them all. I have myself a ball with them. I say, here come Grandma. And they say, oh, sometimes they say, oh, no, like that.
Yes, because, here comes a ball of energy. That's what they're saying.
That's right. So that's a bunch of fun for me. And I always take them something, just like a grandmother would. I take them cookies. I take them little bottles of water. I take them little tangerines. So just tiny things.
Yes. Yeah.
And so that's an introduction of the basic introduction of who I am.
Well, I have a sense of your spirit. What I'd be interested in asking you is, what do you or who do you attribute who you are to? I mean, like I grew up Wonder Woman was not my superhero. My mother was. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Love my dad. They meant the world to me. They left too soon. But I happen to know, as in this season of my life, I see so much of them coming through me as I live. So you are giving away mustard seed. You're loving up on people, your energy, your positive. Where'd that come from?
Did you ask my question?
Yeah. Where did your...
Well, I'll tell you, I learned early. I was the oldest daughter.
Uh-huh.
My brother is older than I am.
Uh-huh.
I'm younger than he is or was. And somehow my mother, she seemed to know that I needed my freedom, or maybe she needed hers. There were 7 children.
Oh.
And now looking back, she probably saw, wow, this girl's got her freedom.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I had that feeling. My mother was, and she never held me back. She would just say, She used to say that.
Mm-hmm.
And she let me fly. If you let a child fly, you don't know what they're going to do.
Oh, that's so true, because you don't know what they came here with,
That's
you know?
Right. And when she was 85, she said, I want my GED. And she was from the South. She had gone to 6th or 7th grade.
Uh-huh.
She said, you think I can get a GED? I said, sure, I'll help you.
Oh.
And I helped my mother get her GED. And she marched down that aisle, and I'm telling you, we were screaming and hollering when she came. And she was walking all proud. She was so happy to have her diploma.
Yes.
You
And I hope, you know,
your children become your mother, and your mother
yes.
Amazing.
That's yes.
And all of us went to a fast food restaurant. We had how you like 50 people taking them to a fast food restaurant.
The food wasn't that fast that day, right?
The food was good, and the children loved it. And I said to the people in the restaurant, anybody in here know my mother? You don't know her, but she just graduated. And they all came over. I said, tell the people what you want. We're paying for this.
Oh, Ijoy.
We had a good old time. So that was that. And my mother changed her name. She was 87.
Uh-huh.
Soprano. She wanted to be called Energy of the Sun.
What?
And she began to write. Listen, she wrote A is for Apple, and A is for Africa, and A is for always. She began to write her personal dictionary. Lord have mercy.
Oh, really?
So see, when you let your children go free, they show you how their freedom can entice your freedom.
Yes.
And in the olden days, women didn't have all the freedom. You know that.
I do. And I was laughing, as you said earlier, children become the parents.
Yes.
And parents become the children. And I smile a lot when I speak with my son, who always has very important counsel for me in my many walks of life. But what I think I enjoy most is that we can express our love, we can communicate, we can encourage, and we're there. We're there in the dark spaces as well as the sunny spaces, and that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. You know what I want to do? I know that the audience has heard who you are. I'm going to read something that came from CBS Philly talking about you, okay? Mm-hmm. All right. The title was, Who Says Grannies Can't Rap? A Chestnut Hill grandmother has released a rap video that is gaining traction on social media, and she has a message she hopes America responds to. At 84 years young, now 86, Dr. Lucille Ijoy is not your typical grandma. A family therapist by trade, she's a motivational speaker and a radio host. She knows how to sing, dance, and rap to get her point across. This is you talking. I do it to help children, to help families, to help couples, Ijoy said. I love it when I can see people's relationships evolve. Those who know Grandma Ijoy also know she is a huge fan of President Barack Obama. She created buttons in a song. There's a thankful movement going on, hoping to spark a sea of gratitude directed at the White House. He's cool, she told CBS Philly. You see him coming down off that airplane. Whenever he steps off the plane, my phone starts ringing. Recently, Grandma Ijoy teamed with Emmy award-winning producer Bill Jolly. He threw out her song and helped her come up with a rap title, Listen to Grandmama. The goal is to get America to say, thank you to Obama. I just have that thank you spirit, she says. The next thing Grandma Ijoy knew, she was the star in a rap music video, which shows her dancing, swimming, and even flying thanks to a green screen in Jolly's Overbrook studio. Grandma Ijoy gets funky while reminding people to mind their manners. It was fun, she said, laughing. She was such a joy. She was amazing, said Jolly. Now, that's not hard to believe, but why don't you, or I should ask, would you be willing to give our listening audience a taste of that Obama rap? Just a taste.
All righty, well, let's see. It goes like this.
Okay.
Now, you listen to Grandmama say thank you to Obama. Maybe you learned to thank folks a long time ago. Now, let Grandmama show you the rhythm and the flow. And when somebody gives you something real good, well, listen to Grandmama and say thank you like you should. Now, you listen to Grandmama say thank you to Obama. Yeah, listen to Grandmama say thank you to Obama. That's just one of the verses.
Listen to Grandmama say thank you to Obama.
There you go.
Yes, I love it. And I have actually seen, and you too can see, because she's on YouTube and iTunes. If you Google her, you can see her performing that and a couple of three others. I saw a couple of speeches she gave to LBGT community, and we'll talk about that in just a second. I'm thinking that maybe I ought to take another short break, and then we'll come back and get to workshops. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
All righty. Stay close, everybody. Grab a snack. We'll be right back. And we are back. I'm sure you're saying, wow, that is a woman of wonder that Tyra has as a guest today. Dr. Ijoy.
Hi.
Hi again. Listen, I was thinking you talked an awful lot about giving. Can you walk us through your professional life journey and how you got to doing what you do now, which is what you shared with me one night we were talking? How did you get started? How did you wind up?
Mm-hmm. Well, it was really something because I didn't get to go to college until I was 27. I just had that hunger for going to school. So I did go to St. Joe's and graduated after 6 years, staying at night for 6 years, going back and forth at night. Mm-hmm. Then when I got finished that, I said, oh, let me see, I think that's 1 degree. Let me go to Temple. And I went down to Temple. I was getting all wound up then. And I went to be a teacher. And then after that, I said, oh, no, I'm going to work on my master's and my doctorate. Mm-hmm. And I kept going, and every one of them just made me feel more just stronger, and I just loved it, and I wanted to share it with other people. Mm-hmm. So I became a teacher, and then children were in the class, and they couldn't read, and they seemed to be disgruntled, and I said, what is going on? And they said to me, listen, lady, we don't even know how to get home in the daytime because the gangs are around here. You're talking about reading. I got to get home. So I began to get a feeling about it. Oh, my mother and father are not together. They were fussing all night long, and now I didn't eat my breakfast. And it came to me, I'm telling you, I needed to become a family therapist because I needed to figure out the relationship between school and reading and violence and all of that. And that's what I did. So I went to become a family therapist, and that helped me with that. And then little by little, then I got to be the chief of staff of city council, and I learned more about politics. Now that's something else. Woo! You go down to city council and become first chief of staff for Philadelphia City Council. And from there, I just kept saying, what else can I do to help children? And it just kept being more powerful each time. And then somebody said, well, do you ever do workshops? I didn't know what workshops meant, but I said, well, I teach. I think I could do it. And they said, write up some curricula for us. I said, oh, no. So I have 10 courses that I teach. Anger management, stress relief, parenting, all kinds of courses that you've heard of, just regular courses. And having to do with drugs, when people get out of prison and to get out of the shelter, they need everything. They need everything you can offer in a loving way. And that's how I got to do that. And I knew, I said, God, you sure gave me this because I really love doing that, talking about workshops, giving them, and that's what I do now. And that's how I got to do what I'm doing. And then as far as the radio is concerned, someone said, well, could you just come down here and talk a little while, tell us a little bit? And And when I went down there to the Word Radio,
Mm-hmm.
the person said to me, "Oh, would you like a program?" And I said, "A program? What's a program?" It was always like I was always struggling to learn what people thought I could do, and I wasn't sure I could do it myself. And I said, "Yeah, I can do a program." And that's the way that happened. All of a sudden, I began to like doing that, and I'm still doing that kind of thing today. I do vignettes. Once a month, I go into the radio station, and I do 3 one-minute vignettes, and they're about every subject you can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And I now have way 1,000 vignettes because I wrote a book about vignettes.
What's the name of your
moments.
book, Ijoy? What's the name of the book you wrote?
It's called Family Therapy Moments with Ijoy.
Okay, yeah.
And another one called Sane Sanity, Keeping Your Healthy Sane Sanity. That's a CD.
Oh.
And then I have one called Wise While Wonderful Women Know, K-N-O-W. And everything is done in snippets and all, because I found out that counseling should not take all day, all night, and all year.
and beyond that, the attention span of today's generations is that of a gnat. So you better, yeah.
You have to get to the point, and then they have to do some work.
Yes.
And I really like it when couples get married,
mm-hmm.
and then they still want to come to counseling, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
And just like take care of a car, you go back for maintenance. The best marriages work when after the honeymoon, the folks, they keep coming for every month or every 2 months.
A tune-up.
After I got married, I didn't tell you this part, I knew that I was just too much reading and writing and arithmetic. And I said, I love my children. I love raising children, but I was confused about being a wife. I didn't know. My freedom was taken away. Now, everybody might say, well, I want to be married. I want to be free. And I think that's what God said to me. You can be free. And I got myself free. And once I did that, I knew that I was doing the right thing. You know how you know when it's right for you?
Yes, I do.
And
I do.
You're not judging others who want to have a different life, but freedom is my byword, and that's what I got, and that's what I did.
I find it interesting because as I listen to you, the 3 or 4 things. One, you said, it seems like people are always asking me to do things I don't know that I know I can do. And in my faith walk, I discovered that God will always ask you to do what you cannot do so that you understand it is not you that's doing the doing.
Yes.
And we have to lean. This is Tyra speaking, my faith walk. Many people say, can you? And I figured the question came because it was God inspired. So my answer is, well, let's see what it takes. I'll give it a try. But I also hear you saying, now this is Tyra again interpreting. Yes. You have said freedom is a theme since you and I start talking in your language, okay? And when I discover what you do when you see yourself free is that you give yourself to everyone else. So you are not free in the sense of a bird flying in the sky. It's freedom to give, freedom to deposit, freedom to pour into others. And so this is what I don't want the audience to land on the word, I want to be free, and not hear your story. Because your story is, wait a minute, I'm talking to people getting out of jail. I'm talking to people dealing with drugs. I'm talking to broken families. I'm talking to children that can't read because they're hungry. No, that's not freedom. That's freedom to give, right?
Yes.
Okay. That was my little vignette.
Oh, it's wonderful, and I think most people want freedom, but maybe they want it in another way, and that's okay with me. I'm not, I don't. It doesn't feel wrong to me that they want it in a different way,
Yeah, and I want you. Let's see. I think it was. I know I Googled it. I don't know whether it was on YouTube. I don't know what it was on. But you were speaking. You had been invited to City Center, maybe. You were talking to an LGBT group of people about love.
Yes.
Is that ringing a bell with you? What I saw.
Well, I do that a lot, so it probably is because I've done all these workshops and things. But that's. You want me to speak on that, Tyra?
Yeah, just a little, yeah.
Well, when I see a group of LGBTQ people, I try to figure out and respect them just like anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I love them. I want them to know that. I want them to know that I'm not judging them or thinking something's wrong or crazy with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can flow with it. It feels like I can flow. And I say to them, I'm learning definitions. There are lots of definitions for that community.
Yes, there
and
are.
I'm learning, and if you Google that LGBTQ,
mm-hmm.
and you say definitions, you get about three long pages,
mm-hmm.
and you can study it and learn it. So when I enter a room to work with this community,
mm-hmm.
I see a man come in. Now he's dressed clearly like a woman,
mm-hmm.
got his hair, I say, hey, sister, sit down and join us. He smiles, his big old smile,
Oh, yes.
And he knows he's safe there, you see.
And wait, let's the word you just said.
Just like a man, it's all right with me. I say, you want to join us today? Yeah, I want to join you. I said, well, sit, let's go, And I just get right with them. I don't want them to sit there. I'm sorry for myself, but he's going to say, just sit down, let's see what we're going to do.
Yes,
yes.
Yes.
That's how I handle that group or any group for that matter.
Well, there was a word that you used.
I talk about being an ally.
Mm-hmm.
Many of them didn't quite know what an ally was in the LGBTQ community. And it just means, you know what it means. I'm just saying this, it means a person who will support you in your quest for understanding yourself, somebody that will help you, just like anything, just a plain old ally.
Absolutely.
It's a person who supports, a very important person in the lives of the LGBTQ. And I had to learn what the two Qs meant.
Yeah, and you notice I omitted, that was my bad. I didn't put the Q on there, or the QQ. So maybe you can.
And so for the community, whoever would like to know, I learned what queer, one Q means queer,
mm-hmm.
and the other Q means questioning.
Oh.
I think that's very interesting.
It is.
To be a queer. It says it's an umbrella for sexual and gender minorities,
mm-hmm.
and they are not heterosexual. They are they don't want to be prejudged. They may want to be of the same sex desires, but beginning in the late 1980s, the activists began to reclaim the word queer.
Uh-huh.
And questioning is a very good word. It says the questioning is one's gender. You're questioning your sexual identity,
mm-hmm.
your sexual orientation, or all three is in a process of your exploration.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good word because I have a feeling that we all could understand what does it mean to question your sexuality,
mm-hmm.
because almost all families have somebody in there that's questioning, you see.
Mm-hmm. And I think too, one word I don't want to let slip away that you used early on, and I managed to interrupt you twice, trying to get it out. But when you gave the example of the two people coming into the room and your welcoming words included safe. This is a safe place for you to be. And I guess where I want this conversation to rest is about love. And when I think about my faith walk, I think sometimes the church is a place that needs to work on love, because we can tend to exclude and forget what we're about. And I know each of us has a choice on who we want to receive into our hearts and into our spirits. I'm not saying you should do anything. I'm just saying I am trying even when I don't understand. And that's why I really parked on the second Q, which is questioning. Okay. And we don't need to get into a therapeutic session, but the relationship between the rest of our lives and sexuality is a strong one that needs to be explored. But what I love is the fact that you have a broad base of collaboration and inspiration and dedication and communication with people. And you have said, I am free to love you no matter who you are. And so I just, I'm thinking like, hey, that is way cool. I like that a lot.
And this thing of love, there are 3 ways to say I love you.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk about that. There are 3 ways. They're so separated. One is to just say the words "I love you." Some people say, "Well, I got married to you, didn't I? You knew y'all married. We've been married 25 years. I've been saying I love you. Why I have to say it every day?"
Yeah.
So that could be, excuse me, a problem there. But the second way is to be affectionate, to just touch somebody's shoulders or pat them on the butt, or just hug them, or just give them a little intimacy, And it's not always sex, but it's still something about the closeness. And then the third way is the behavior, to have loving behavior.
Yes.
To be faithful, to help them out, to listen to them. And we all need that. Just 3 ways to say, I love you.
Yes.
That could solve a lot of the world's problems, I think, and family problems. Just to say that, as much as possible and be sincere with it,
And I think, again, and I'm going to redirect you to I gave you an assignment, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to complete it. But I think you said behavior, and I want to use another word that I use a lot, which is whatever you're doing, be authentic. Okay?
Oh, yes, that's a good one.
Be what you're thinking and what you're feeling at the time. Don't wear the mask. Because most people, particularly if they're vulnerable, they know it's a mask.
Yes.
And it's not doing anybody a service. But, my dear sweet Ijoy, I ask you to write a letter to your younger self that would provide an insight into your journey. And you told me I did it. So I would love for you to read it now.
I did write a letter to myself. Let me see, what did I say about myself?
What'd you say about yourself, girl?
What did I say about myself? Okay, they used to call me Ludy, Ludy,
Okay.
They didn't say Lucy. They just called me Ludy.
Okay. Go, Ludy.
So I would start off by talking to Ludy.
Okay.
And I would say, you know what, Ludy? Let me tell you something. I like you as a little child. You're a nice little child, but you talked a lot, Did you listen? Were you listening while you were doing all that talking? So I would say that to my younger self. I would say, you were a big helper to your mom and your dad. And you always liked to be in charge, and your mother let you be in charge. And I bet you liked that. Your mother made you a good lunch every day to take to school, and you ate it on the way to school. What was that about? I ate my lunch right on the way to school because I had made friends with the cafeteria lady. And she would say, oh, come on in, baby. And she would say, here, help me serve the lunch. And I gave you a nice, hot, new lunch. So I was an eating sister. And so I did that. My mother never knew it. My mother would say, what? I think children, your mother did not know all the things you did. You used to kiss them boys in the hallway, didn't you? I sure did. And my mother and I was in the vestibule. Oh, no. And something else. My father, all them 7 children, somebody would do something bad, one person, and he would give us all a spanking. I hated that. And I knew something was wrong with that, and I was always saying to myself, I'm convicted. First of all, I love my father. They called me a daddy's girl. But why was he beating me when I didn't do nothing? So I'm going to write myself a book about that when I grow up. And that's what I did. I wrote a book called Calm, Confident Parenting Without Spanking, And I know that book. I got that book, and I love having it. And then, you know what? When you hit children, you cause violence in the world. And I said to somebody, oh, you know what? That's not in the Bible. I looked it up. You can't find that in the Bible, spare the rod and spoil the child. Now, I made some preachers mad about that. They said, oh, yes, sister, yes, it's in the Bible. Praise God, it's in the Bible. I said, well, you can't find it, sir. They look in the Bible, they can't find it. They get so mad with me. Now, why are they going to get mad with me? So, spare the rod and spoil the child. Those 7 words are not in the Bible. It causes violence in the world when you hit a child. And I think that's why our communities sometimes are very hurt, because somebody's been beating on them children, and not because they don't love them, but they just want their children to behave, and they don't know another way. So those are some of the things that my little Ludy, she did and she thought about, and she always thought about being a person that could create and that would be friendly and that would just be good to her family and her friends. And you know what? I made a big mistake in my life. About 75 of them I made. You want to hear about a real big one?
It depends.
Yes, I did.
How bad is it?
real bad. Because what happened was I was so busy with my good credit. I thought everybody had really good credit. So a lady said to me, "Hi, what's your credit score?" I said, "It's 8." She said, "8? God, girl, what, you know?" And she said, "Well, if you sign these papers over here, you can flip 5 houses." I said, "Hey, bring the papers." I
Okay.
didn't ask anybody. I didn't talk to anybody because I knew everything like I did when I was 19. And Jesus, they came to lock me up, but they didn't lock me.
They didn't lock you up. Are you still there?
What?
Are you still there?
Still where, dear?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Oh, okay. I thought the line broke for a while. We've had all these storms. Okay. So they didn't lock you up.
They didn't lock me up, and they told me that I could keep my my pension and my Social Security check that comes, every month, because I didn't know what I was doing. But, young lady, you are in bankruptcy. Boom, go to court, and for the next 5 years, I had to give the court $500 every month for 60 payments, and I didn't tell anybody. It wasn't keeping a secret. People didn't ask me what I was doing, and I didn't tell them.
Well, I'm gonna cut you off.
I paid that last $500. I shouted glory, hallelujah, and now I'm right back up to 8 again.
Well, I have to interrupt you only because of time, but I don't want to be remiss in identifying what you just described in your story. I want it to be called a mistake because it was something you did not understand. You were not intentionally trying to do something wrong. And even when we're intentionally doing things wrong, I consider that a mistake because I believe that life is a process. And I believe that it's not an event, and we do have do-overs. We just have to have the desire to want to make it better.
Yes, you're right.
And I want to just close us out with our spiritual doggy bag, which I do every week. A little something to inspire each of you while we're apart. And those of you who said, "I'm just so tired of being tired." Some people wrote me and said they absolutely loved this poem from last week by Sarah K. And so I'm going to try and get it in. It's called The Type. Ready? Here we go. If you grow up the type of woman men want to look at, you can let them look at you. Do not mistake eyes for hands or windows or mirrors. Let them see what a woman looks like. They may not have ever seen one before. If you grow up the type of woman men want to touch, then you can let them touch you. Sometimes it's not you they're reaching for. Sometimes it's a bottle, a door, a sandwich, a Pulitzer, another woman. But his hands found you first. Do not mistake yourself for a guardian or a muse or a promise or a victim or a snack. You're a woman, skin and bones, veins and nerves, hair and sweat. You are not made of metaphors, not made of apologies, not made of excuses. You are the type of woman who is looking for a place to call yours. Let the statues crumble. You've already been the place. You're a woman who can build it herself. I want to add my own encouragement to that and remind you, when you are unsure, check your label. You are not a markdown. You are a designer's original. God has set your value. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Surround yourself with people who can remind you of who you were created to be. You're not alone. You're not your circumstances. Nothing that is happening to you will be wasted. I'm going to let Mr. Tony Walker play the piano version of our theme song as I say bye-bye. Until next time, your seat is guaranteed. You've been listening to Frankly Speaking with Tyra G. This week, my guest was Dr. Ijoy. Join me next week, same time, same place. Take good care now. Remember, I'm listening and I'm available.